Michael Marquart is the labor relations manager at John Deere Coffeyville Works and a member of the JAGK Board of Directors. Today, I am pleased to welcome him to this episode of the Future Success Podcast. Mike, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you on.
Hey, thanks, Chuck. Thanks for the invite today.
Well, before we start, I just want to thank John Deere Coffeyville Works. They have been a strong and consistent partner of JAGK since before I was even part of the organization, going back to 2016. So we thank them. They've been not only great financial supporters, but also with employer engagement in working with our students, visiting with them in their classrooms, setting up events, having them come out to the facility. So thank you so much for all of that support and what you do on the board.
Yeah, we enjoy it out here at Coffeyville when we can support the local community. We also love it when we can have events out here where the kiddos can come out and interact with our employees. Some of them, it is a small community, so some of those students are children of our employees, and so it's always a special day for us out here.
Yes, well, we enjoy it as well. So right now you are the labor relations manager, and we want to talk about that. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and how you got to Coffeyville.
Yeah, so I grew up in northeastern Iowa, northwestern Iowa actually. Lived there my whole life, but all my family was there. Graduated high school, went on to pursue an auto body career in central Iowa, Waterloo, where a lot of the John Deere bigger units are. Ended up getting a job there, met my wife, married. I have a couple girls. One is back up in Iowa at college actually, and the other one is a junior in high school. So like I said, I started with Deere back in 2004, and about end of 2020, I was promoted and able to afford the opportunity to come down here to the Coffeyville, Kansas John Deere plant.
Great. So when you were in high school, did you imagine that this is what you would be doing at this point in your life?
Um, no, nope. So when I was in high school, I was very much into mechanics, and auto body, and I thought my father was an auto body guy, so I thought that's what I was going to do. Went to, like I said, went up to college and did auto body there. Got on at an auto body shop and realized it wasn't a long-term career. Little different than what I expected. And one day I decided I would apply at John Deere, and a little different of a traditional path for me through Deere. I actually started as a hourly employee working on the shop floor. So I just got hired on at entry level. Again, I had the college degree I had was just a 2 year associated degree, really very little college classes, mainly tailored around auto body itself. So started on that and just worked hard. Ended up getting promoted to the salary side of things, and then ended up getting in the labor relations role. And while I've always been told I'm good at arguing, the role I have now is very conducive to that. I never imagined I would. I never imagined I would work for Deere. While it was a very small farm community, I didn't live on a farm. It just kind of all fell into place.
So tell us about your current job as labor relations manager. And you said you argue. I know you negotiate in that role, but tell us what you do a little bit more specifically and what you like about it, and then maybe some of the challenges with your job.
Yeah, so I kid about the argument part, but as a labor relations manager, most people are familiar with HR when you get into a company, human resources, but we do have units at John Deere that are represented by the union, and so I manage that relationship. So it's kind of similar to HR, but I manage that relationship, and so with lots of conversations, lots of understanding, lots of figuring things out, what's best for the company, what's best for the employee, and how to make sure that at every given time the company's interests are protected as well as our employees. Always making sure that our employees are taken care of, making sure that they understand benefits and pay or whatever it may be. And then when there's issues arise, whether it's hiring or discipline or just having conversations on some grievances, that's what we do.
Do you think your experience as a line worker or on the floor helped you in your current role?
Absolutely. And not only just in my role, but we often find times where managers will say, "Hey, our best supervisors were previous floor workers." You just have a better understanding. Essentially, you've heard it before, where you've done it, so you know it. If we were to hire somebody outside of Deere and they come in as a supervisor, they have no idea the process. They have to learn it. If you have done the process yourself with your own hands, and have that hands-on experience, you just ultimately make a better leader.
What was the biggest transition for you from being on the floor to your current role?
I'll be honest with you, the biggest hurdle I had personally was um, I was floor on the production floor for 8 years, and then applied for the supervisor job, and I went from being with my friends on a Friday to being their supervisor on Monday. And so I really had to balance that relationship and how essentially we were going to work together to make sure that there was a line there now, and how we were going to do that going forward. And it really I leaned on my floor experience so that they knew that I knew what I was talking about and I wouldn't ask them to do something that I hadn't done before. But then also had to start building those relationships on the respect part of it and the authority part of it and make sure that those lines weren't blurred.
Do you have any examples of situations where you know you made a mistake or something didn't quite turn out the way you thought it would, and how did you recover from that? How did you overcome that obstacle?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is transparency. Everybody makes mistakes, whether it's a production worker or a management worker. So no matter if I was on the floor, when I was in production, made a mistake, or a supervisor, you just have to own up to it. And a lot of the times that's uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, if we can own up to it and be transparent and be upfront with either the people involved or the product that's involved, it ultimately ends in a better result, and you almost gain more respect by doing it that way, as opposed to skirting around it, walking around it, trying to hide it, whatever that may be. It's uncomfortable, but it's much better just to be transparent and own it.
When you're looking for an employee or a team member at John Deere Coffeyville Works, what are the qualities that you hope to find in all of your candidates?
Well, first and foremost for us, what we want, we have core values here. We have five of them, and what we really do is we look for those core values first. And once we have that identified, and we know that they're going to be a fit, if we're looking for specific drilled down qualities, I'm a big stickler on showing up. If you show up and you show out, you are leaps and bounds above anybody else that decides not to do that. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, it just seems like it's almost okay to maybe show up to work or maybe not show up to work. But one thing we really need in any manufacturing environment is dependability. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the rock star that can do everything and anything. But if you show up and you give effort, it's really what we look for. And at that point, especially when I'm speaking to either JAG kids or other kiddos, what I tell them is if you just show up to work and you're a marginal worker, you are 80%. You're at the 80% already. And for a supervisor or a manager in that role, if you have a bunch of employees that are 80%, you're winning. Really. And so if you break that down a little bit, all we're asking is if you show up and you put some effort towards it, you're already there. Your managers will work with you. Your managers will rely on you. They will start giving you more responsibility. And I'm a firm believer that if you show up to work, you already have those capabilities and those qualities to be a great leader and a great teammate, because you already know the big one, which is just showing up to be there.
And that's transferable to any career.
Any career, any company, any type of industry. If you just show up, you are already on the right path.
What do you see other than not showing up, maybe the biggest mistake that new employees make?
If I were to pick one or dive down to one, probably a fear of asking questions. We understand, I've been with Deere for 21 years and there's still things I don't know. And I also understand that if I hire somebody tomorrow, I know what it felt like on day one, and I know they won't know either. But if you're an employee and you think that I shouldn't show that I don't know, I shouldn't ask the question so they think I don't know, we already know you don't know. We just need you to ask, right? Because we would much rather take 2 minutes to show you on what you need than to have you try to struggle through it, causing delays. And then if it's built wrong because you didn't ask questions, then we have to go back or other people have to go back and do it. So really just that, don't be afraid to ask the questions. We've all asked them at some point.
Great. As a member of the JAGK Board of Directors, you are part of an organization of about 22 people who really have the fiduciary responsibility for the organization. One of my bosses. What is it that you like most about serving on the board? Because it does take some time, but tell me about your experience on the board and why you do it.
I'll be honest with you, one of the best things about it is on the board meetings when we bring uh, certain kiddos in and they tell us their stories. I mean, that's what's impactful most to me. And it is a quarterly reminder of why I choose to serve on the board. You're right, it does take time, and it's time that maybe I have or don't have, but it's important to me because for me, what JAGK teaches and instructs those kids, and not just the one here in Phil Kinley, but at all of them that I've seen, is exactly what we've talked about today. When we bring those kids out and they meet some of our managers or executive staff that have not dealt with them in the capacity that I have, every response after the kids leaves is they're respectful, they paid attention, they're attentive, and we understand they don't have to be here for events that we bring out. They choose to be here, and what they put in, the effort they put in just to learn and to better themselves, and at some point, when they're there for that quarterly board meeting, they tell us those success stories. It really is great.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your service. This is the last question. What do you do for fun?
Um, Well, I like to try to play golf. I would say it's fun. Sometimes it's frustrating. But yeah, I've played golf since I was a kid. It's one of those. I told my daughter who's in college now. She went out for the golf team in high school the last 4 years, and I put it this way: it's one of those activities that you can take anywhere. So I know sometimes it's frustrating and it's not as easy as some of the other ones. But it's one of those things that you can do. Every company, when they have an outing, they usually have a golf outing, right? And so it's a way to connect with people. It's a way to network with people. I've went out on a weekend and played golf and met people I never knew, but played with them. And next thing you know, we're texting, and it's just a great way to meet people. So while it may be frustrating, that's what I try to do for fun. I don't get to do it as often as I would like, but I try to take every opportunity of it.
Great. Well, thanks again, Mike, for your service on the JAGK Board of Directors, the partnership between JAGK and John Deere Coffeyville Works. We appreciate you. We appreciate them. And here's to future success.
Thank you.